Welcome to Conversations with Ann Elizabeth, the podcast inspired by my book, I'm a Registered Dietitian, Now What?, where I have the absolute joy to sit back, relax, and have a conversation about nutrition with a variety of people who share their personal story of passion and purpose, especially registered dietitians. Today's conversation is with Haley Hughes, a registered dietitian who is impacting her small community in a big way by starting her own practice, RDRx Nutrition, and coaching Crossfit. Haley's dietitian career has taken her many places in the United States, including her home state of Alaska. While she was choosing schools, she landed in Colorado and realized there was a need for her dietitian services in her small community of Greeley. Haley started her business after seeing a need for nutrition education while doing diabetes education. She continues to be involved not only in nutrition education, but contracts in menu planning, her local Meals on Wheels program, writing articles, recipe development, and collaborating with other professionals in her community. If you are looking to be an entrepreneur, Haley is someone who has leveled up in her business and will inspire you to do the same. Please enjoy my conversation with Haley. So thank you for taking some time out of your entrepreneurial crazy day I'm sure that you've had today and life and all that kind of stuff that you have. You have a lot going on right now.
I do. It's really fun. But thank you for thinking of me. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to talking about all the things that you have going on. But I kind of want to start, let's just kind of go back to when you decided that being a dietitian was something that you would like to do. And how did you get into it?
So I actually was thinking about pharmacy school at first. My mom's a nurse, so I kind of grew up, going to work with my mom on Parents and Kids Day and being really interested in just helping people in general. I didn't realize that I was so not tolerant of blood and guts until a little bit later in life. So I thought pharmacy would be a good fit. I get to still help people. Get them what they need. And then I shadowed a pharmacist and was kind of like, oh, this is not quite what I thought. They are very important. It's just a little bit more stationary than what I envisioned. So, and I really thought about a lot of these problems that we're medicating could also be fixed by diet and lifestyle. And exercise has always been a passion of mine as well. So I kind of got started that way. I knew I wanted to do healthcare, and preventative health was really exciting to me.
Did you know about dietitians at the time?
Not really. I knew there were people in the hospital that helped with the food service part of things, but I didn't really realize what an aspect dietitians covered in the hospital setting, especially with, ICU, tube feeding, TPN, pediatrics. There's so many different places to be in the clinical setting.
Did your mom work in a hospital then? Is that the nursing she did? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she was aware of dietitians.
Oh, yeah. And she works with them now, and it's fun to hear what they have going on and helping out when I can.
Sure. So preventative health has always kind of been on your radar. And you said you were very active. Were you in sports when you were younger?
I was. I didn't do a lot of contact sports. I was a gymnast till I was 18. Quit gymnastics and was like, well, I better do something. And so I started running. And then I actually ended up running for a D1 school doing track and cross country.
Oh my gosh. Good for you. It's a full-time job being a student and an athlete in college.
It was. And I also worked at the rec center, so I was pretty busy in college. And
oh my God. Well, no wonder you're so good at multitasking, all the things you have going on.
I sometimes overdo it a little bit, but it definitely keeps things exciting.
So you graduated from high school. So where did you end up going to your undergrad dietetics program?
I did my undergrad at the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley, and that's where I live now. And I was a little confused. I thought Northern Colorado would be like Alaska, where I'm from, and, there'd be skiing and all of these outdoor things to do. And I got here and it ends up It's a little bit more of a cow town. I had never seen cattle before. I had never seen people wearing cowboy boots in public. So it was a little bit of a shock. However, my school is amazing. My professors are great. The community here is awesome. And it's also a lot sunnier than Alaska. So
that's always a plus.
Yes.
So how did Alaska to Colorado? That's a huge change. I mean, just like distance wise to go to school.
Yes, it was. So I knew I wanted to kind of get out. And like I said, I was thinking, Colorado would be just like Alaska. It's definitely not. But in Anchorage, we didn't have a dietetics program.
Okay.
So I knew I had to go somewhere to pursue that career. So Colorado was
bad. Somewhere in Alaska, you need to get a dietetics program there.
They do now. They do. It was literally the year that I left that they started the program. So
of course, that's how it always works, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you did your undergrad, and did you ever waver once you kind of got into the program? Did you always feel like this is what I want to do? I'm very confident in my decision.
I did not waver at all. I had kind of a set intention and was loving all my courses, and also out-of-state tuition was a little bit of a motivator to, keep going and get through those science classes. And yeah.
Did you do your internship then at your college that you went to?
I did not. I did a combined master's program at Illinois State University.
Oh.
And that was a little bit similar culture shock. It was more cornfields versus cows, but just getting some experience. But I loved that their focus was in leadership and management.
Okay.
And my internship was really awesome, being able to see what dietitians do in the management position and kind of analyze, best practices and what options there were.
So tell me a little bit more about, because that's an area that I probably haven't heard of, like a specialty for an internship. So when it comes to leadership and management, was it management of all types of aspects, or was it like a certain focus that you were in?
It was all aspects. So we had food service, we had community, we definitely had clinical, and it was kind of just watching and learning from dietitians who were in the leadership position.
Oh, that's really awesome, because I don't think enough of us get that experience.
It was really cool to see, especially kind of figuring out what your style is. And even if you want to do it anymore, seeing some of the backend and responsibilities that you don't expect is
Did you like one certain leadership aspect, management aspect?
I like managing myself. I don't love the employee part of it, just because it can be really tough when you have a heart for your employees and, overstepping those friend boundaries or, being too lenient, things like that. It's tough.
So you really learned that you kind of wanted to be your own boss, that you were like, I'm going to start my own business, basically during your internship time.
Not even close.
Okay.
I didn't even know it was an option. So we didn't have any private practice experience by any means. It was always like a bigger corporation or a big hospital. So I still didn't even know that there were private practice dietitians out there. I didn't learn that in my undergrad. I didn't learn any business in my master's degree. So I didn't really know it was an option. And when I moved back to Greeley and searched some of these private practice dietitians that I was seeing on social media, my town didn't have any. So I have had a surplus and amazing opportunities in my community just because nobody's doing it.
That's awesome. I was going to ask, so you decided to go back to Colorado, obviously. You must like Colorado. You must like Greeley.
I do. And my husband decided he would like to continue living here, wasn't quite ready for Alaska. So I ended up moving back after doing some time in the clinical setting after my internship. Well,
so you did, as you graduated, you did end up going into some clinical work?
I did. I did a year of clinical and worked long-term care on the weekends. So.
Oh my gosh. So you did 2 jobs.
I did.
Oh, did you? So were you still in Illinois at the time?
I moved right after graduation, I moved back to Alaska to do clinical.
So you were back. So is your husband from Alaska too?
He's from Colorado.
Okay.
So we had to little bit of long distance while I was getting my experience. And
my goodness. Oh my goodness. So did you like clinical? Did you like long-term care?
I did. I loved clinical. I mean, it was always challenging seeing new things. And since I was the only younger, no kids dietitian, I was put everywhere from the ICU to the renal floor to cancer, everything. So I got some good covering experiences, and nobody else wanted to work weekends. So I got some long-term care experience too.
I think it's funny that you said that, because I was that no kids dietitian too in my first job, and I worked a lot of weekends as well.
Yeah. Haley's not busy. She can do it.
Or she can work later tonight because I gotta go pick up my kids from school, or
Exactly.
I can relate. So did that for about a year and then moved back to Colorado. And then is that when you kind of like realized the opportunities that you said you're kind of looking at private practice dietitians and realized there wasn't really anything in how big is your community?
That is a good question. I want to say maybe 200,000. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I can Google it, but.
Is it kind of more of a college town then? Is that because there is?
It is.
Yeah.
But also aging. So Colorado has a huge aging population. So, and northern Colorado is growing like crazy since Denver's overpopulated. So,
yes, I've heard that. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that there was an aging population in Colorado.
Yes, very, very much so.
So take me through the next steps of how you kind of pioneered your way to private practice and opening your own business.
When I moved back, I started working long-term care and got a job as an outpatient dietitian focusing in diabetes. So I went ahead and got my certified diabetes educator credential, which was an experience in itself. I never thought I would be able to place an insulin pump. I still faint sometimes, but I get it in person, so we're good. So that was an awesome experience. But what drove me to start my own practice was I had a huge client base and the follow-up was really lacking because there was only one of me, and I just wasn't getting to build that relationship and being able to coach and counsel them through, having diabetes. A one-time appointment of 60 minutes doesn't even do justice for all the things they need to know and all the support they needed. So I kind of branched out on my own to be able to provide that follow-up and actually be their coach and be there for them so that they had a better outcome. And that's really what drove me to do it, is just having more time. And
So was the clinic restricted to only certain, just like one visit, or was it insurance purposes, or what kind of was the thing that held you back with time? Just you being in clinic?
I think it was just me being the only one.
Mm-hmm.
I had 27 providers sending me all of their patients. And again, there's only one of me. So that was just
a lot.
I needed a little bit more support, and just trying to, accomplish all of that was hard. And I don't like rushing, and I don't like my patients feeling rushed. It's a very, sensitive time, especially being newly diagnosed and being scared and having a lot more on your plate than, when you didn't have diabetes. So
absolutely. And getting your CDE is not an easy task.
It was, yes, it took me a while and a lot of studying. But I am so glad that I did it. It gives me a lot more to offer to my patients. And instead of just addressing food, I have a lot more knowledge about medications and comorbidities and all of that. So that was really cool. But now what I'm doing is not quite diabetes as focused. I definitely still have diabetes clients, but I opened my practice, and it is next door to my CrossFit gym where I now coach as well. So I've got CrossFit coaching, I've got my private practice, and then I have 4 contract jobs as well.
Oh my gosh. So what's your contract jobs then?
I do all of the menu analysis for our local Meals on Wheels, right? It's so much fun. We get to come up with new recipes, and I love that population. They're just really fun. And I also sub for a long-term care and a hospice facility. And then I do nutrition analysis for small restaurants in town too.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I'm just like, there's just so many things. You do a little bit of everything, it sounds like.
It's pretty awesome. I like, learning and building relationships, especially with small other local business owners. And it makes living in a smaller town really fun.
So you keep up your CDE because you do sometimes still get referrals from physicians in your area. Is that how you're still kind of working with that part of your business?
Yes. And with Meals on Wheels, they refer me their diabetes clients if they have any questions or want some counseling.
Oh, sure. That's a great connection that way then.
Yes. And some of the long-term care, when I assess people and they have diabetes, we do a little counseling too.
Oh, very good. So you did post today just about the Meals on Wheels, and I find that to be so interesting. Do you want to share maybe how you got involved, or was it a job posting, or did you approach them? How did you get into that aspect of nutrition?
I actually approached them. I did work part-time for the area agency on aging in Wells County, and then also county outside of, long story, but I used to work for a program similar.
Okay.
I knew they had a dietitian, but she was not local. So she wasn't able to, always see the clients or visit the kitchen and do inspections and things like that. So I reached out to them and told them kind of what I'm doing and that I would love to be a part of it. It's just something I'm passionate about. And yeah, I kind of reached out to them and let them know I was available, and the other dietitian was kind of ready. So,
oh, that's amazing. Do you like doing menu analysis and planning menus?
It is an art. So it's a lot harder than people think. So that's part of my private practice is I do meal planning for my clients, and we sit down and brainstorm together. With the older population, I mean, they love their meat and potatoes. They love their fried chicken, and I am not going to take that away. Sure. But it is an art to still meet that daily requirement need without, giving them bran muffin filled of fiber so I can eat bacteria and make things still taste good. So yeah,
interesting.
It's fun, challenging.
I bet it is. So I know with your private practice, you actually have a standing location. Like you said, it's next to CrossFit. Tell me about, did you start out just initially having a standing kind of a location, or did you start out virtually? How does one transition kind of that beginning of a private practice?
I kind of dipped my toes in the water for a little bit and did not have a standing location, and met a few of my clients at, a library or a coffee shop. But nutrition is a very private thing for a lot of people, and I wanted my clients to feel comfortable. I wanted to feel comfortable, if they're weighing themselves or want to do any body measurements or things like that. Obviously, a library or a coffee shop really isn't appropriate. So I just had to go all in when I was ready, and kind of made that transition when I knew there was a need, and I was confident that I could provide what, people are looking for to have a successful, sustainable, healthy lifestyle. And yeah, I got very lucky that the owners of my CrossFit gym also own the offices next door.
Oh, nice.
So I have very wonderful landlords, and I'm very close to a gym, which makes it very easy to, gain clients from that too. People who are already interested in health and just need to get the nutrition on track.
Well, and I guess I feel like your model is kind of very unique because, a lot of people that are that are entrepreneurs or in private practice do it mostly virtually, where you're kind of the opposite. Like you prefer to see them in person, one-on-one, because of the community that you're in.
Yes, I do still some virtual counseling. I mean, I have clients in Alaska and Arizona and some other places. Actually, I have one in Europe as well. But
oh wow,
I love the virtual aspect. I think there are so many pros to that, especially busy moms or just busy individuals in general. But I do really like having that location and people feeling more accountable sometimes. And also they get to kind of meet me a little bit more. And I don't know. I like chatting. I like being in person and being transparent and
and being present. And I think like when you have a community that's been very receptive to your services, having that place where someone could walk in your door and just come in and meet you and say, I'm not really sure. I've heard about you. I want to meet you face to face. And I think they get more comfortable with you.
Definitely. Yeah. And they're not as distracted. So I have a lot of people virtually who, husbands are in the background or there's TV on or kids screaming. And I'm like, this is when I wish you could come to the office because this is your time to focus on you. And sometimes that's hard.
So how long have you been doing your private practice?
Officially, I opened my doors in June of last year.
So now you're coming up on a year anniversary. That's exciting.
Yes, almost there.
So tell me what a day is like for you. I know they're probably very different every day, but usually how do you kind of, since you have so many things going on, just with all the different variety, how do you kind of manage your time? How do you kind of plan your day? Maybe share some of those things.
So it took me a while. I'm still not there at all, but I try to get everything on the calendar. So I know my dates that I need my Meals on Wheels menus done. So I try to get those done a week early, just in case I need some grace time. I set up my calendar where my clients can book their own schedule Monday through Wednesday. So I try to be very flexible those days. And I also coach on those days. So I'm already at the gym. It makes it a little bit easier for me, so I don't have to drive back and forth. The other jobs, as far as contract work, I really can schedule those on my own time, which is awesome and very flexible. But it is one more thing to add to my plate. I don't have a secretary. I don't have, people calling insurance for me and things like that. So I really have to be disciplined about scheduling and that catch-up time on my calendar and using it very wisely. Which at first I was like, I'm just going to try to, get as many people in as I can. And now I'm saying, no, I have to book you out 2 weeks and then we can get started because things are so busy. So
isn't it just a process to kind of figure out like your happy medium with everything that you're doing?
Yes. I've not quite figured that out yet, but I think it takes time. People keep telling me the first year or so, like just keep pushing through it.
Yeah. Do you use me? Like you have a scheduler that you can just give to clients to book their own appointments. And as far as when it comes to any other platforms that you use, as far as billing or, things charting, that type of stuff that you use, that's made it easier for you?
Yeah, I use a website called Practice Better. My clients can chat with me anytime. They can do food journals. I can do my schedule. I can do task assignments, all kinds of things. I cannot say enough good things about that program. And it's called Practice Better. They also have an app making it easier for them to check into. And then I just use Square Up for credit card payment. I'm trying to get that organized. Like I said, I did not really do anything with business, so I am learning how to budget and just track those things for taxes. That's all new to me.
And then as far as, does Practice Better also have a platform for like telehealth that you can do your virtual appointments?
Yes.
Nice. That's nice. That's one-stop shopping.
Definitely.
And then so as far as like CrossFit, so maybe tell me about how you got into that and how you feel maybe a dietitian's place is kind of with work. Because, there's so much controversy about CrossFit and people.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's exhausting. And I never say anything bad about it because I'm like, hey, there's something out there for everybody, whatever. But so how do you feel about, because I'm sure you probably get a little slack every once in a while.
Oh, all the time. When I first started, I was like, I was an athlete in college. When I got out, I was like, whoa, what am I doing out here by myself? And I didn't want to run 14 miles by myself. That's boring. So yeah. I kind of did the gym thing for a while, tried some classes and things like that. And I had a friend that did CrossFit and was like, you should come, you're a gymnast. I bet you'd be really awesome at it. I'm like, I don't know. They're weird. They preach paleo and they wear socks that are too high. And that bothered me. So I was like, I'll just give this a try. Maybe I would be okay at it. And the first day I had like 50 rope climbs. And I was like, number one, why are adults on ropes? Number two, the sock thing is very real because I have a scar now because I would not let my pride go. Sure. And definitely burned a hole through my shin.
Oh my God.
So there were things like that. And it was really cool when I walked into the gym that they were receptive to a dietitian. They're like, oh yeah, you're the nutrition expert. And it wasn't like, trying to preach something or sell supplements or anything like that. And that was really cool. But the community in general, I like having a group class. I like, having some structure and a plan to my workouts instead of just showing up and not really knowing what to do. So yeah, I got hooked. I joined the cult and it's been really good. I think it really depends on what gyms you go to. We are very big on safety. I had somebody ask me yesterday, how many injuries have you seen? And I'm like, honestly, I've not had anybody ever injure themselves in a class. So
that's great. That's really great. Well, I think you're right. I think it really depends on where you're at, what type of gym. But then I think it's great that they also recognize you as, a very important part of the community there and the CrossFit community.
Yeah. My first couple weeks, CrossFit headquarters posted something on Twitter about how all dietitians caused obesity because of a low fat. I don't even know what it was, but
I think I remember.
I engaged in that. And
did you?
I don't feel bad about it, but that is pretty frustrating to see because we're all on the same team trying to make people healthier and bashing whatever. It's just
not
silly.
Necessary. Yeah, absolutely. So what did you need to do then to become an instructor? Did you have to attend classes? Like, how does that work?
We did. We had it's a 2-day course and then you have a test at the end. And then my gym requires, this is like my 3rd month of training. So they take it very seriously to make sure our members don't get injured and I'm teaching correctly and paying attention and being a good coach. So
that's awesome. It kind of sounds like it was all kind of meant to be for you, like how it all happened. It just kind of happened how it was supposed to.
It did. Everything's falling into place. A lot of things coming out of nowhere that are good, but yeah.
And at some point you might need some help with all your things that you're doing, especially billing insurance. Like that is exhausting. How do you feel about that?
I don't actually take insurance. Okay. I provide a super bill. So my clients are responsible for sending it into their claims. However, I do spend time on the phone with them. If sometimes they just need something silly, but they're not going to call the patient and tell them that they want you to follow up.
Okay.
So I spend hours sometimes explaining what the appointment was about, where it was held, my MPI, know all that.
Sure.
But it's definitely not as stressful as actually billing insurance. So,
well, that's good. That's a good tip that maybe doing that super bill isn't much. Like if you tell your patients ahead of time, you're like, I provide you with a super bill. You are in charge of submitting it to your insurance. I will not bill your insurance. That's probably just taking out one extra day of phone calls.
It is. And these people are ready to make changes. They see the value in nutrition counseling when they're paying out of pocket. So that's another thing that I feel really helps with success is these are people who are ready to go.
They have money in the game. That helps, I think.
They do.
Out of all the things you do, could you pick one thing that you really are most passionate about?
At the end of the day, what I get the most job satisfaction out of is seeing a client make the progress or make it to their goals. So even though one-on-one is probably the most time consuming and stressful and almost feeling like a therapist at times, that is definitely the most rewarding. And I feel like I make a difference. So
such a warm and fuzzy feeling, isn't it?
It is. It's pretty cool.
And when you can see a patient's like eyes, like when it's just clicking for them, like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing something right.
Yeah. And you get to know them, and, you know, it's almost like, I don't like calling my patients or clients, whatever. I like to call them my friends, because they do end up becoming, you know, good friends. And it's just really cool to see that.
That's kind of true, because you do share so much, even probably your own personal life with them, because they're sharing their personal life with you, and you end up having a lot of interesting conversations.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
It is.
So I also know that you're very adventurous with food and travel. So I love watching, just experiencing your travel and your food with you. You come from such a great place with, like, I've seen you with your fresh seafood and that type of stuff. So did you grow up in that kind of space with being adventurous with your food and traveling?
Oh yeah, fishing every weekend. Both of my parents are from the Midwest. So I remember my mom saying one time when we were younger, like, I am so impressed you eat your salmon. Like, you know, we would never do that because they didn't have it. So yeah, and my dad hunts, and my husband is a very avid hunter. So I have literally maybe bought meat at the store a couple times in my entire life.
Wow.
So we have mainly moose, deer, antelope, salmon, wild turkey, everything. So
that's really awesome.
People are a little weirded out sometimes, but I like to know where my meat comes from. And
sure.
I'm definitely not a gardener, but I do like to shop at, you know, farmers markets and things like that. But yeah, I think growing up, vegetables, I was I was a typical kid, like, I'd rather have some chicken nuggets or something. But I'm very pro sneaking them into things, making them taste good. You know, they don't have to be boring salads all the time. So I do try to get really creative and flavorful with my food. So
that's awesome. And you love to travel. I've seen you on many adventures. Is that kind of for peace of mind, or you like to be adventurous?
It is. I think peace of mind is a big one for me. It's hard for me to disconnect when I'm in Colorado. It's hard for me to put the computer down, or, you know, refrain from answering a question or saying yes to a new opportunity. So vacation is a really good time for me to step away from things and experience something new, and actually spend time with my husband so he doesn't forget that I'm a person. So yeah, we took a trip to Bora Bora. We've got Greece and Italy planned. I've been to Hawaii quite a few times, and we're just trying to get out and, you know, see what else is out there.
I think it's good to show that too, because I think as a business owner, you know, you have to show both sides of your commitment to your business, but also the commitment of taking care of yourself and being able to divide the time.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's a reason we got into this profession. We want to help everybody and do everything. And that takes discipline too, is being able to say, like, no, so you can give your best to, you know, what you're doing in the present and just being there.
Absolutely. Well, I think I messaged you one time. I was like, are you working on vacation? I think I did like your last couple trip. And you're like, yes, I know. I gotta stop. It's hard. It's hard for you, I'm sure. It's hard when you're trying to grow a business too.
Fingers or something every time I try to do that.
Well, I think it's really, I like following the uniqueness of your business and just all the kind of great things that you're doing in your community. I think, you know, as a dietitian working in maybe a little bit bigger of a city, but I think that there is a space for all of us, and those smaller communities really need us.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe find them.
Oh, yeah. And I think there needs to be more dietitians out there that are, you know, doing exactly what they love. Like, there's just such a need for everybody. And like I said, even with the CrossFit thing, like, we're all on the same team. You know, if I don't know, I've had quite a few dietitians reach out to me and they're like, what are you doing? Like, how did you even get started? And, oh, well, I could never leave my job or whatever. And I'm like, have some, confidence. There's definitely a need. There will always be a need. And everyone has something unique to offer. And I know I'm not the perfect dietitian for everyone. And it'd be nice to have some other support out there too.
And I think, like you said, people are scared. They're scared to leave comforting. Like they know that they have a job. They know they have, this place that they can go to all the time, but they really want to do what you're doing. So I think you're a great role model for people that just to do it. There will be a space. It'll be hard, but there will be a space.
Yeah. I was scared.
Were you scared? Yeah.
But you never know. You can't, put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, you could get fired any day, and going your whole life, working at a job where you're not feeling like, oh, I'm really doing what I love, then,
and it's good to kind of have some other things like you have, like some other contracts that I always remember those. Like there are places that need maybe not 40 hours a week, but they might need 5 hours a week, or they might need 2. And those are just kind of great ways to keep it fresh, but also to have an income while you're trying to kind of build your own thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even just that's another thing, like with reaching out to some of these contract things, like see if there's a need for you. If it's something you like, it can always be created. And I also do some local fitness events, and we reached out to a new distillery in town and we're like, hey, can we teach a yoga class here? And they're like, that sounds awesome. It's just creating what you want to.
And what do you call that?
We call it Busy Babe Wellness.
Yes. That's right. I love that. And then you guys do is it beer and yoga?
All kinds of things. We've had donuts and paddle boarding. We've had, I don't even know, like just random fun things.
And do you get do you get a good response for those events?
We do. Our first event, we did a free 5K because we didn't really know what was going on, and we provided mimosas. We thought maybe 15 people would show up, and it ended up being 50 plus. So,
oh my gosh.
That was like, oh, well, I guess, yeah, let's do this.
So Busy Babe Wellness is kind of another just small little entity of because what's the name of your current business, your primary business?
It's RDRx. And I was going to do just, Haley Hughes, nutrition counseling, whatever. And my CrossFit owners were like, you're not famous like Jenny Craig or something. You have to think of something clever. And I was just so frustrated by the end of it. I was like, whatever, I'm going with this. And so far it's been good. People kind of are like, what does that mean? But dietitian prescribed is what I was going for. I totally get it. I'm sure a lot of people don't quite get it, but RX, I think that's very catchy. It resonated with me. So, and then did you create the Busy Babe Wellness, or was that kind of like a thing that you formulated with some other individuals? I have a girlfriend that I do it with. She is an exercise physiologist and also a yoga teacher. So we were like, we both ran for UNC, and we moved back, and we were like, where's all our friends? Like, what's going on here? There's got to be some other cool busy babes out here. Let's start organizing some events. And so we just really started it to be able to build our community and network and have girls try new things. And like CrossFit can be very intimidating to a lot of women. So we've done a CrossFit class where it's just all women, and just kind of creating those opportunities so there's no judgment and feeling nervous about new exercise and things like that.
That's very fun. You do such fun stuff. I love how creative you are with just everything that you're doing with your business.
Try. Keep life exciting, or else,
Just keep your sanity. That's what you got to do. Yeah. That's the primary thing.
Yeah. Got some trips booked, so I think I'll be okay for a while.
Good. Yeah. Is there anything else that you kind of want to share about just things that you're doing? Or, I will definitely share your links to your social media and your websites and things like that if anyone has any questions or want to follow up with you.
So I'm president of the Northern Colorado Dietetics Association, and a lot of students come up to me and ask me about private practice. And that's really exciting to me because like I said, as a student, I didn't even know it was an option. And I really believe in, telling people, I know it sounds so cliche and cheesy, but you have to find something you're passionate about, because the work environment is very different than school, and there's just so much out there that you could do. I love seeing all the dietitians on social media who have these totally different jobs and things that I never thought were, real, and recipe blogging and food photography, all kinds of really cool things. So I think it's really exciting to promote that to other future dietitians or people just in their, dietitian career who are looking for something new. There is always something for you out there.
There is. And I think the network of dietitians, if you can't find it with one, that dietitian might know someone else that can help you, or like that network is very awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like what you're doing.
Just something different.
All these cool people. I listened to the episode with the sarcastic nutritionist. Oh my gosh, I love her stuff. It's awesome.
I do too. I was laughing because I was thinking about our conversation, and she was sitting in her car doing the podcast, because she was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to do this real quick. And I've got so much stuff going on, and they're so busy because their business has just boomed. And I think they've just created such a cool thing for us dietitians.
Yeah. And it's making us not look like robots, or I always start out with have you seen a dietitian before? I promise this won't be that bad, because people sometimes have that oh, she's going to tell me I can't have anything, or
right.
She probably never eats donuts. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Or they think that we cook all the food in the world. Like we're just in a kitchen, like in a cafeteria, I think, because that's just, I think that's the mindset that people, I had someone ask me the other day, they're like, so all you do is menu plan, right? And I was like, I don't menu plan at all.
Or when they call you dietary, I'm like, what? Stop doing that.
That's
nobody needs to be called that. So
no, that is the worst.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing just kind of your path so far. I know you have a very bright future ahead of you, and I will definitely be following along. And hopefully, again, we can have a follow-up podcast in a year or so and see what things have changed for you, and just have a quickie update, because I know you're going to have lots of cool things happening. You also have a class that you're doing. Are you doing like a virtual class? I know this will air a little bit later, but you've been working on another project.
I have two little projects. Well, they're not little, I guess. I did partner with another exercise physiologist to create a course for people who want more of the study aspect of it. So like learning how to calculate their own calorie needs, well, estimation, of course, and just going through the science behind why strength activity is important, why, having a balance of macros is important for a lot of people. And it's more sciencey based. So it's really cool to give them the knowledge and tool. I mean, I do that in the counseling session, but this is more kind of like a study course, and then they have challenges to apply it in their life.
Nice.
So that's been a really cool project. And then I also did a no added sugar challenge, not necessarily to demonize sugar by any means. Everybody knows I love milkshakes and donuts. But it was more about learning what even added sugar is and what alternatives we have. And that's been an awesome group of ladies. They have blown me away with all of their support and, giving each other advice and different healthy alternatives. So that's been a really cool experience too, because I'm not used to the group setting as much. And so two little different groups going on, but yeah.
So will you do both of these again? I know that you're doing them currently. Will it be offered? Is it evergreen? Is it something that people can go to your website?
Yeah. So the complete lifestyle course that I partner with the exercise physiologist, he also has a podcast called Fit and Fizz. That's always available, and you can start at any time. It's an ongoing Facebook group as well. So when you're going through the course, you can ask questions or upload some of your challenges to show off what you learned. And then the No Added Sugar Challenge, I think I'll do it again just because I've had such a good success with the ladies in the group now. And it was really fun. And I even learned a lot. I now like figs. I didn't know that would be a dessert that I would choose and actually love. So just little things like that where maybe I don't need a chocolate bar every night or, whatever. So
I can mix it up and have something else.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's
I need to put that on my Instagram, my website, wherever. I just thought those were two great topics because I still think people like to learn about the science and like to learn about why things work and how they can work for you. I think that's a great approach for a class. Absolutely. I can't tell you how many people come in and I'm like, well, why were you following, keto, or why were you following this diet? And they're like, honestly, I don't know. I saw it on the internet. And I'm like, come on, have some science behind it before you commit to eating 80% fat.
Right. It's amazing when you learn the science, right?
It is. Yes. Very different for everyone.
Well, awesome. That's two great things that I thought I wanted to make sure that you talked about because I thought they were very genius ideas. So thanks for creating that.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for some hard questions?
Sure.
Okay. So share with me some of your favorite foods.
Oh no, I'm going to get the judgment now. I do love pizza. And I was totally against the cauliflower trend. I was like, oh, this is dumb. Just eat the real thing. And then I tried some cauliflower pizza crust that I really love. And I love piling veggies and protein on it. So it's actually a pretty balanced meal now that I've found some alternatives and tried to make it a little bit more balanced. I still love my regular pizza too. Going to school in Illinois, I definitely experienced quite a few deep dishes. After I ran the Chicago Marathon, I ate probably a whole pizza to myself.
So good.
So I really love those. I love donuts, but they need to be fresh and right off the fryer, and I need to be able to pick my own toppings. And I found a place to do that.
You did? Where's that?
Yeah, there's one in Fort Collins. I think it's a small chain. It's called Peace, Love, and Mini Donuts.
Ooh.
And you can pick any topping you want.
That's so fun.
Maple, peanut butter, whatever you can possibly think of. So that's been a good find. Healthy foods. I have come to love just roasted Brussels sprouts. It's probably my favorite vegetable.
See, it's all balanced out. A little this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you have to share with me what cauliflower pizza crust you like.
I like the cauliflowered. I think cauliflower, maybe.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's in the frozen aisle at Kroger. Yeah, pretty good. It's easy.
I'll have to try it. I'm kind of like you. I'm like, just have the real thing. This cauliflower stuff is just goofy, but I'm willing to give it a whirl. So hopefully, I'm gonna break down one day.
I mean, if you're gonna, like, one of my favorites, we do a peanut sauce shrimp pizza.
Ooh.
And honestly, I'm like, with anything on a crust, it's still pizza to me. And I've really never met a pizza I didn't like. So
true. It's a good vehicle for anything.
Yeah, agree.
Do you have a beverage or beverages that you like?
Okay, so I know I'm a dietitian, but I hate drinking water. I drink a lot of coffee. And I try to bribe myself where I'm like, all right, you need to drink your water before you start on your coffee. But coffee is definitely my beverage of choice. And as far as cocktails, I created a couple cocktails with vodka and sparkling water. And I just muddled some strawberries, some mint, things like that. So I try to get creative with different cocktails and using some fruit and herbs and things like that. And I don't know.
There's always a little water in those, right? There's water in coffee.
Yeah.
There's water in sparkling water.
Yeah, I know. People were like, wait, you were a runner and you didn't drink it? No, I was probably in renal failure multiple times, but you're right.
I'm still here.
They're not all perfect.
Do you have a favorite color or colors?
I chose a bluish color for my logo. But for the people that know me, I wear a lot of pink. Yeah, so I'm definitely a pink girl.
It's a good color. That's my favorite color. What is your favorite scent or smell?
Probably cookies.
Like baking cookies?
I love home-baked cookies, yes.
It's a good smell. And then what brings you joy in life, Haley?
In the work setting, seeing my clients succeed. Again, cheesy and cliche, but I am so happy coming home and my husband's like, okay, new subject. And I'm like, yeah, but she did this. And anyways, and then probably my husband, my dogs, and just traveling. I love being new places, seeing new things, and being able to experience those are definitely things that bring me joy.
Well, I love your tips that you give about where to go and what to eat. I think you had one on Austin, and I'm headed there in a couple weeks, so I'm excited to tap into it. It is so fun. Did you like it?
Yes. I hope you have an amazing time. Yes. The Today's Dietitian Conference was there.
Oh, sure.
And I went with my other dietitian friend, the food dietitian. She's on Instagram too, and she's awesome. She's more of our planner every trip we take and gets all of the best food suggestions. So
perfect. And your puppies are adorable.
Yes, my fur babies. The New Year's resolution was to make sure I walked them every day this month. And so far we're doing good.
Awesome. So do you have that planned for this evening?
I do. Yes.
No matter the temperature outside?
No, the other day we went and it was like 4 degrees. I was like, you guys are lucky because they don't care how cold it is. They don't care. No.
Well, thank you so much, Haley, for sharing everything about your journey so far. And I look forward to continuing to follow it with you.
Yes, thank you for having me and all that you do. It's huge. It's an awesome thing for our students, our just everyone, all our dietitians out there.
Thank you. Haley is such a busy woman, but I think it's so exciting how she found a need in her community and she created it. This is the kind of possibilities just waiting for us as dietitians, and we have the knowledge and the expertise to make it happen. Please reach out to Haley if you have questions about the amazing things she is doing, and her website is also a great place to find out more, RDRxNutrition.com. My website, AnnElizabethRD.com, is where you can read my latest Embrace the Hell Yeah blog post, as well as all my previous podcasts, show notes, and links to things we talked about during all my conversations with these great nutrition experts. My book is also available for purchase on my website, and I hope we can connect more on social media by finding me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest at AnnElizabethRD. Remember to be great always, find the joy in each day, and to start a conversation that truly matters.